It is now a brand new year. Happy 2022 everyone, and like most traders, you're probably wanting to get funded this year and see where that can take you, whether it's to have additional income on the side or to maybe even quit your job. So the question comes, what company should you go with? So today we're going to be breaking down the 5 best, in my opinion, the 5 best Forex funding companies that are currently out there. We're going to be going over the pros and the cons of each one, and each company is a little bit unique. So just because one might be ranked number 1 and another might be ranked number 5, it doesn't mean you should necessarily just go with number 1. Every trader is a little bit different when it comes to their goals, and so you might be somebody that wants to scale up as fast as possible, or you might be somebody that is just looking to get instant funding. So you need to kind of assess your goals, what you want to accomplish, and then see what company fits best for you. But with all of that being said, in the 5th spot we have the 5 percenters. Now, I have never made a video about the 5 percenters. I will in the future, but they are a company that I have heard a lot of good things about, and they're a little bit unique because they're not offering a challenge model similar to what we see with FTMO. So they have instant funding for Forex traders, and you can accelerate your funded account up to $4 million. So I think that this is really a company that those of you that are looking to scale up and trade as much capital as possible are going to want to look at. So here we can see that they have their instant funding starting at 235 euros. And if we scroll down here, what's interesting is they have a low risk and they have an aggressive model. So essentially the way it works is you have a milestone, and every single time you hit that milestone, which is a profit target, they will double your account. So here on their low risk account, you have to generate 10% of profit in order to qualify for that capital increase, and on an aggressive account it is 25%. So here we can look at the low risk model with a starting balance of $20,000. You would have to generate a target of $1,400 with a maximum loss of $800 in order to qualify for that increase. Once you hit that increase, they'll jump you all the way to $80,000, and then it will double from that point onwards if you hit the target, which is 10% for the low risk account, and then it is 25% for the high risk account. So it's really an interesting model for those of you that are looking to earn as much capital as possible. A few of the cons is that on the low risk model, the leverage is 1-6. So that's definitely going to turn some traders away. On the aggressive model, it does increase to 1-30. So that is certainly a little bit better, and you can go all the way up to $2.5 million on the aggressive model, which is really exciting. So this is a company that has a very good reputation. If we scroll down, we can see that they have just over 4.5 stars on Trustpilot with 409 reviews, and they do have a physical office location in Israel and the UK. So they've been around for a while. They do seem very legit, and it's a unique offer that I haven't really seen with another company. So for those of you that are looking to scale up and get as much capital as possible, I think the 5 percenters is a funding company that you want to look at. Moving on to number 4, we have Traders Central Fund, which I have made several videos on, and I do think that even though they are working out some kinks, they're a very solid company and a company that you want to consider. What's interesting about Traders Central Fund is they have not 1, not 2, but they have 3 different account types, and it can get a little bit confusing, but it's interesting that they have so many different offers. So the OTF challenge is obviously the most well-known, which is their one-time fee challenge, very similar to FTMO. They are a direct competitor, and I think the most major pro with Traders Central Fund is their pricing. Currently, we are still late December of 2021, and they're having a sale going on for their 100K account. It is only 382 Canadian dollars, which is roughly $300 US, which is just absolutely cheap compared to FTMO. Normally it's 545 Canadian dollars. So really, pricing wise, if you're looking to take a challenge and your budget is a little bit tighter, then Traders Central Fund is going to be a really good option for you. On top of that pro, they have really good leverage at 1-200. Their profit target for stage 1 is only 8%, and stage 2 it's 4%. So their challenge is easier compared to FTMO. And even my Forex Funds, which we will look at, their stage 1 goal is 8%, then it's 5% stage 2. So Trader Central Fund is certainly easier, minimum 10 trading days, and the profit share is 85%, which is also very high. So there's a lot of good things coming out from Trader Central Fund. I don't look too often at their monthly account type or their instant, but for those of you that are looking for instant funding up to $50,000, it's a fair bit expensive. It's over $1,500 Canadian. So it is instant funding. So of course you have to pay some kind of fee for the risk that they are taking on. That's something that you can look at. Their monthly fee as well, up to $50,000, is $242 Canadian a month. Only 1 to 3 leverage, which is a downside. I think the vast majority of you watching are interested in their challenge model because I think it is, of course, their most popular and the one that you and I are probably most interested in. In terms of cons, there's 2 overarching cons that come with Trader Central, and I'm hoping in 2022 things will improve. The first one is their customer service. Their customer service isn't the best. I've heard from a lot of traders. A close friend of mine is with them as well, and it takes a long time to hear from them, to either get your credentials. If you have a question that you need answered, it takes a fair bit of time. So keep that in mind if you're somebody that isn't very familiar with the challenge process and you foresee yourself needing to ask some questions or get help. Trader Central Fund isn't the best in the industry, but hopefully this year they will improve. And secondly is that their rules are not constantly changing, but their rules have changed a fair bit over the last 3 months, and their rules aren't always the most clear. My previous 2 videos on them was about the confusion regarding their drawdown rule. Was it account balance based or was it equity based? Their homepage said something different than when you logged in. All of that to say, they did clear it up. It is not equity based, and fortunately it was really good to see they changed the writing on their homepage. So that's a little bit more clear, but it's possible that there can be some account confusion when it comes to Trader Central. So again, that's something that I think they're going to improve on a lot in 2022, but just a few things that you may want to keep in mind. Moving on to number 3, we have Ment Funding. This is a company that I recently made a pro and con video about in less than 5 minutes, and this company is very, very exciting. I haven't used them personally, but they are doing some exciting things. If we go to their evaluation, what we can see first off is that they have this $1 million account option, which is $7,500. I would love to know how many traders are signing up and trying to get this $1 million funding. I think that's super exciting. I can't imagine there's a ton of traders that are trying to do it. I would be very, very curious to know. But what you can see here is that there's only 1 step evaluation, and there's no minimum or maximum trading days, which is just, I want to say mind-blowing. I feel like that's maybe, blowing it out of proportion. It's very exciting because most funding companies have stage 1, stage 2, and there is that time limit. Whereas with Ment Funding, they do not have that time limit. So if it takes you 6 months to pass the challenge, it takes you 6 months, and it's 10%. So yes, it's 2% higher than say Trader Central or my Forex Funds, but when you don't have a time limit, there's no problem there. Their available leverage is 1 to 10, so it's not the highest leverage, but it's not the lowest either. Something to keep in mind if you're somebody that takes a lot of trades at once and you need that higher leverage. But if you're only taking 1 trade at a time, like I am for the most part, 1 to 10 should be okay. You cannot hold trades over the weekend, which is a little bit disappointing for swing traders, but it only counts as a soft violation and not a hard violation. So you'd receive a warning and you wouldn't just lose your account, which is still a positive. They are a newer company, so I can't speak for their longevity, which I think in this business is something that's important, but we'll see how they do and if they update anything throughout 2022. One of the cons is that they are more expensive. It's $750 for their 100K account, but it's understandable because you're paying for an easier challenge. So I don't have any problem with that. And of course, this $1 million challenge is something that's very, very interesting. So all of that to say, Ment Funding is a new company, but their challenge is certainly easier than most. So if you're willing to spend a little bit more than say Trader Central and you're worried about that time restriction or having that second stage, Ment Funding is a new company that you most certainly are going to want to check out. On to number 2, we have my Forex Funds, which is a very popular funding company. I feel like they are always competing and in a close second place with the number 1 spot on this list, which all of you know, but we will get to shortly. If we go over to their programs, they have a rapid, they have an evaluation, and they have an accelerated. I mostly focus on the evaluation, which we can see here a few of the guidelines. You are allowed a 5% daily drawdown, which is the same as FTMO. 12% overall drawdown is actually more than FTMO offers, which gives you a little bit of extra breathing room, which is very nice if you're somebody that gets a little bit stressed about the challenge. Having that 10% limit, you have a high risk tolerance. 12% is very nice. 8% profit target for phase 1, so it is easier than FTMO, and then 5% for stage 2, so a little bit more difficult than the stage 2 of Trader Central Fund. 5-day trading minimum and no trading restrictions, so trade your way, your size, your time. There are no consistency rules, which are really nice, and the profit split goes all the way up to 85%, which of course is very reasonable. It says here that they allow news trading, scalping, long-term trading, short-term trading, etc. on all accounts. So there is a lot of flexibility with my Forex Funds, so that is really good for some of you that are interested in kind of doing a variety of trading. It says here that your first payment is monthly and every payment after that is bi-weekly. So not every company offers a bi-weekly payout, but if you're somebody that kind of likes to have that steady income flowing, a little bit more similar to a regular job, they do offer bi-weekly payouts. In terms of scaling, it says here that if you have achieved a profit of 10% or more within a 4-month period, and 2 of those 4 months were profitable, they will increase your account by 30% of the original account size. So 10% in 4 months and 2 of them have to be profitable. I think that's very exciting. That's very, very reasonable over a significant period of time, 4 months. So if you do want to take a challenge, but you also want to scale your account, my Forex Funds absolutely offers you that option. One of the main drawdowns, the most major con that I hear and see with my Forex Funds is that their drawdown is equity based. An equity based drawdown is something to keep in mind if you are a swing trader, because let's say your trade is in profit by say 6% and then it hits break even. Well, you have just violated their 5% daily drawdown limit, even though technically you haven't really lost any money. So for swing traders, it is not ideal. You're kind of forced to use a trailing stop or adjust your strategy somehow. But that is the most major con with my Forex Funds. For some traders, it won't be a big deal, but it's something that you absolutely need to keep in mind, and it is something that a lot of traders mention as well. One huge pro with my Forex Funds that I actually don't think gets enough attention is that it's similar to Ment Funding in the sense that Ment Funding doesn't have a limit. It doesn't have a maximum trading day limit on your challenge. Now, my Forex Funds does. You have to generate your 8% target in just 30 days. However, it says here that if you are in profit and that 30-day limit is reached without any breaches on the account, you're entitled to 1 free extension of up to 30 days. That is super exciting. If you are up 5% and your 30 days are up and you're so close, they will give you a 30-day extension and you will have 30 days to hit that extra 3%. So that is super, super exciting. They should really advertise this more because it's gonna help out a ton of traders. And if you don't wanna do that, let's say you're only up 1 or 2%, you can choose to have an unlimited free retake. So similar to FTMO, as long as you're profitable and you don't violate any of the rules, you can continue to take those free retakes. So for those of you that aren't so confident in being able to hit that 8% target in 30 days and you see yourself potentially hitting 5 or 6%, this free extension will be huge. All that to say, my Forex Funds is a very exciting company. A lot of traders are with them. They seem to have a good reputation. I was a little bit skeptical when I was first looking at their reviews on Trustpilot because the site was just getting flooded. Their customer service, it doesn't seem to be the best, so hopefully in 2022 that improves. But in terms of what their challenge model is offering and how flexible it is, I think for a lot of traders, this is going to be an exciting option to look at. And just before moving on to the last part, if we just look at pricing to see how it compares to other companies. For a 100K evaluation account, it is only $499, which is much less than FTMO. FTMO. And if we just quickly scroll back to Trader Central Fund, their 100K account is 382 Canadian dollars. So they are more expensive than Trader Central Fund, but they're cheaper than FTMO. So they kind of fit in the middle nicely. All that to say, let's hop on to number one, which all of you know is going to be FTMO. FTMO is the gold standard and will remain the gold standard, I think, in 2022, at least for the first part of 2022, unless some major change happens with them or another company. I don't think there's too much that we need to cover with FTMO. I've made a lot of videos on them in the future. In the past, I've made a lot of videos about them. I do think that they are fantastic. Customer service is top-notch, best in the industry. They have always been super, super helpful with me whenever I've had a question about my account or a rule or anything. They're very, very fast to respond. A huge pro for me is that they offer CTrader. Now, not every trader uses the platform, so that's not going to be a huge pro for everyone. But for those of you that are used to CTrader, trade on CTrader, then they are certainly the best to go with. They're the only company that I know of that currently is offering CTrader. Once you use CTrader, you can't go back to anything else, so that's a huge pro. Basically, their challenge is just industry standards. 30 days for stage 1, 60 days for stage 2, 10-day minimum trading days. The maximum daily loss is 5%. It is not equity-based drawdown, unlike my Forex Funds, so that's a nice pro. It is account-based, maximum loss of 10%. And the profit target is 10% in stage 1 and 5% in stage 2. So they are a little bit more difficult to pass, but you're paying for quality. Here you can see they still have their holiday sale going on. Really, the most major con, if you can call it a con with FTMO, is that they do charge more, but you're paying for quality over quantity. And I do think there's a lot to be said about this. We've seen in the past problems with other funding companies such as Funding Talent, which was a disaster, and other companies that are just a little bit more, I don't want to say sketchy, but are just a little bit newer, a little bit young. They don't have the same foundation that FTMO does. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with paying a little bit more to get quality. You know that what you're getting is going to be legitimate and safe and all of those good things. The fee is reimbursed with your first profit split when you become an FTMO trader. So I don't think there's anything else really that I need to go into detail. Most of you are probably familiar with FTMO. If you're not, I highly encourage you to check them out. With all of that being said, these are, in my opinion, the 5 best funding companies out there. Because of the nature of the industry, there are a lot of prop firms out there. So yes, I did miss some. I would be happy to hear in the comment section what you think deserves to be on this list, because I'll happily check them out, do some research, and maybe make a video on them in the future. All of that to say, as you can see, each company has their own unique pros and their own unique cons. So I highly encourage you to assess and ask yourself what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to get funded as fast as possible? Are you trying to trade the highest amount of capital as quickly as possible? Are you not quite super confident in your trading, and so you're looking for a challenge that is a little bit less expensive in case you don't pass it? All of these things need to be considered before you can decide accurately which company is best for you. So yes, I've ranked FTMO as number 1, but FTMO might not be best suited for everyone. All that to say, I know I've said all that to say a few times, I've put links down in the description below for most of these companies. Some of them are affiliate links, so if you sign up with them, I will get a little bit of a kickback, but it does help support the channel so I can continue making these videos. I hope you guys got value from this. Consider hitting the subscribe button and hitting the like button if you did. Throughout the year, I'll continue to look at new funding companies and what existing companies are doing in the space. 2021 was a very exciting year with a lot of competition and a lot of changes, and I don't see why this year won't be any different. All that to say, if you guys are still here, you have my gratitude. Drop a comment in the comment section down below. I always love hearing from you. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, peace.